If you've ever wanted to be punched in the face multiple times while you're out enjoying a date with a loved one, or if you've ever wanted an alien invasion in your backyard, well, you're in luck because the Vidu mobile application makes that all possible. Welcome back to the channel where we discuss the creative uses of AI. And I actually started my AI journey on a mobile app called Wombo Dream, which was one of the first AI generators. It created a bunch of weird looking stuff, but eventually, as you know, everything got better. And here we are a couple of years later, creating incredible AI cinematography just using text prompts and images we create. Isn't it amazing? But how many of you take advantage of the fact that we've got a lot of these apps on your phone, which means you can go out in the world and do AI on the go? Today I want to show you the Vidu app. I've talked about Vidu many times on this channel. It's one of my favorite AI video platforms. They continue to innovate and get better and better and better. The last video we did was on their Q1 model, which of course we're going to look at here in the mobile app, but their previous model, which allows you to do reference images, is also very good and really key for the video that we're doing here, because what's fun about going out in the world is saying, oh, I'd like to take that person and put them there, or I'm here in this environment and I'd like a flood with that car over there getting washed away. And to be able to do that, you need reference images, which is supported on their version 2 model. So we're going to be looking at both models, but I first want to show you the app in general, just so you get an idea of what you can do with it. This is it right here, if you hadn't figured that out. Along the top, you see the 3 main tabs you'll probably be working with if you're a serious AI filmmaker: reference to video, image to video, and then text to video. For the purposes of this video, we're going to be mostly dealing with the image to video and the reference to video, because that's the whole point, is we're out in the world using real photographs. Which brings me to one of my first wish list items for this app. A lot of the other AI video platforms are including a text to image feature within their platform, so that if we want to create our own elements for references, we can do it right there on the platform and not have to go anywhere else. I hope that they will add that at some point. Now we're going to get into those main features, but I'll also call your attention to the Explore tab along the bottom, where I highly recommend that you go through and look at what some of these other people are doing. It will give you great ideas. You'll learn techniques that you wouldn't have thought of before, and there's some really impressive stuff that you can do with this platform. There always has been, but now more than ever. Tapping the templates along the bottom allows you to do these sort of trendy little social media things where you can fly or kiss someone who has no idea that you're doing that, or in my case, getting punched in the face. And look, I enjoy those little templates. I think they're a lot of fun, and I've actually incorporated some of the output from these things into actual videos, especially the punching. But for this video, we're going to be looking mostly at what you can do when you're just out and about with your phone and you get inspired. We'll be working within the app to initiate some of these videos, but I'll jump over to the desktop website to show you the videos in full resolution, because they're not that impressive on a little screen this big. Before we dig too deeply into this, let me show you the reference feature in the Vidu site if you haven't seen it before, because we'll be referring to some of these references that we've created here. You can create these references on your phone as well, and I'll show you how to do that. But while we've got this large screen here, let me click on my references here, and you can see that I've got several here. Here I have one of my dad, we have one of Presley, we have one of me, my friend Kevin, and these can be generated by uploading 1 to 3 images. Obviously, the more images you upload, the more accuracy you're going to get when you use this subject in your videos. You can also create references in the app. If I go back home and click on reference to video, down on the lower half, you'll see that we have 2 options: adding an image just by clicking the plus image sign, and then you can choose any image that you have on your phone, or you can refer to any of those predetermined references or create a new one. So here we have all the ones that we saw, or if I want to create a brand new one, I would click on create at the top, and then I have the same option to upload reference images, 1 to 3. Why don't we create a subject reference out of this little statue here? I'll just get my phone, I'll click on take photo. I'll just click where it says main reference, and I'll take a front-facing photo. I'll click on use photo, confirm, and now let's add another angle. I'm going to actually change my angle as well, so it won't always try to create it with a mixing board in the background. I'll say take photo. Sorry to turn my back on you. We'll click on use photo there, confirm, and let's just take one from the back. Of course, my hand's always in this one, so it'll be interesting to see if my hand is always in the image. Although that kind of cropped out the hand. So let's click on use photo, confirm. We'll give it a reference name, hula doll. Click on done, select a tag or enter a tag. I'll just say realistic for now, and click on next step. You can see it's created its own description of what it sees here. I'll click on confirm, and hula doll is now added to the list. So why don't we go ahead and just add her to this video and build a prompt from there. You'll notice that the model up at the top has changed from Q1 to Vidu 2.0 because it's their 2.0 model that currently supports the reference images. So let's place her in one of the images I took over the weekend when we went outside for Father's Day and just went here and there, and I took a bunch of pictures just for this video. Now, I have found that when using the phone, it's a little bit easier to just add these images as you're constructing the prompt because I'm not 100% in love with the way we can copy and paste a reference image in a prompt, which I can demonstrate for you here. So Hula Doll is walking along the highway. I'm dictating, and now I'll add one of the pictures of the highway. I won't make it a reference because this is really just a one-time thing. You'll notice that I'm changing to another album on my phone where I have all of my outside images. I'll tell you why I'm calling attention to that in just a moment. Here I have a picture of a highway. So I'll just choose that, and you'll see we also have access to settings. If you don't see those controls like this, then the icon on the very lower left of the screen right there with the two little levers, you just click that and then these will appear. Now currently we only have 4-second duration to choose from, but we do have the ability to choose either a faster model or a higher resolution one. So I'm going to choose the higher resolution one. As far as how much movement is applied here, I'll generally start with auto, and if I don't like it, then I'll start to make some tweaks. We'll keep the aspect ratio at 16:9, and then you can choose how many generations up to 4 that you want. Before I click create, so that we don't get a little tiny doll on the side of the road, I'm going to say oversized Hula Doll is walking along the highway. What I was referring to before is if I had just loaded up all of these images to create the prompt from there, there's no really good way to drag, let's say Hula Doll, I'm trying to select it right to another place. It doesn't really do that. If I select it and cut and copy, whoops, can I undo? Well, actually, you just saw an example of why this is a little bit inconvenient because I don't really have an undo button here. So I have to delete this completely, which takes the Hula Doll out. If I click on plus sign to add the Hula Doll again by clicking on references and just choosing Hula Doll here, it's going to put Hula Doll at the end, and I'm sort of in the same situation because I want to get Hula Doll beside oversized. And even if I try to copy this a little bit more accurately than last time, if I paste it here, it says Hula Doll, but it's not actually referring to the image. I can fix this, go back here, click on the @ sign, and now it pulls up all of these images. And if I click on Hula Doll and click confirm, it puts it where it belongs. So if that kind of thing happens to you, remember to put the cursor where you want, choose the @ sign, and it will pull up your choices and put it where you need to go. So this technique allowed me to take a picture of my backyard and use the subject reference of my friend Kevin to create with this prompt. The ground opens up, but I was dictating again outdoors. The found opens up, but it knew what I was talking about because I was actually referring to image. Opens up like an earthquake, and the man crawls out of the crevice. And then I just refer to Kevin, and we get this. Now we only get half of his body, but I have several takes of it, and it's just so crazy to see this kind of thing in your own backyard. Now here's an example where I created a reference image of this spaceship in another program here. You can kind of see it up here. I'd love it if we could preview these images bigger by clicking on them so we can get a good look at these. But I say handheld camera footage of a complex organic spaceship, image 2, which even though it comes first in this order, you'll see it is labeled image 2, rising up over the horizon of the homes, and that's image 1 up here. We get several different versions of it. Here, a squadron of small alien spacecraft fly into forms, should have been formations, above the house. Another wish list item I have is that this could loop so that I don't have to keep replaying it over and over again. But I kind of found with these examples that the squadron was a little too small. I changed the prompt to say a squadron of large alien fly into formation above the houses. And then I get something like this. I like the little subtle propeller stuff you see here. Here's another take on it. And another take, and you see it cast the shadows. It's almost like this was a time-lapse video, and that in actuality these spacecraft were hovering and moving very ominously slowly over my backyard, and we've just got the time-lapse version of it here. Here I prompted them to look more like insects. And I know that you don't have the same connection to this imagery as I do because it's not your yard, but when it is your yard and you see stuff like this happening over and it looks so real, even leaving chemtrails, it's pretty crazy. I can just say a wormhole opens in the sky and a giant Pikachu jumps out. And now I've got a big fuzzy Pikachu in my yard. Here's a different example of what you can do with some images that you take while you're on the go. These are actually two separate images up here, two different views of the highway. Let me click on recreate because then I can bring up the images a little bit more detail here. As you can see, we've got one view of traffic on the interstate, and then the last frame display here is a slightly different view. I used the start and end frame capability of the Vidu Q1 model to merge these two images into one video. And we get a little bit of road magic there, but it's still pretty cool how it seamlessly integrated those two images and didn't do a camera cut or anything like that. Here I just had an outdoor shot of a piece of wood. We live in the desert, so we see this kind of thing a lot. The area is suddenly overrun with red and black tarantulas, and using the Q1 Vidu model, we get a red tarantula and a black tarantula. I should definitely point out, because I'm not going full screen with these videos, that the videos that you output with the Q1 model are a full 1080p. If we go back to the phone to see how we built this, you'll notice we're on Vidu 2.0 because it's the model that uses reference images. We pulled in Tess as our first reference image, and then is sitting at the edge of the pool, which is the second reference image, with her feet in the water. We generated at 720p. We used the auto mode at 16:9. And then we got this. Let's just do a couple more on the phone here from scratch. I'll click back home, I'll click on image to video. I'll just add an image here, and I'll point out another wish list item I have. You'll notice when it pulls up my images, it goes to my recents automatically. Now, if you watched before, I went back and then I found my album with my outside images in it, and I had to scroll down here and open it up. And I have to do that each time. It would be great if it just remembered where I got images last time, because if I'm in a project, it's kind of a pain to search around for that. Like here is an image taken from a plane. Talk about being on the go, right? So I'm going to click on done. And I choose how much of this image I want to be a part of this animation. I won't do an in frame here. I'll just click on confirm, and I'll say, in the distance, we see a gigantic sea monster emerging from the sea, causing a huge tsunami type wave to roll towards the city. I'm going to open those settings here so I can choose multiple generations. They've also recently added a style preference, creative or stable. So in this one, the monster emerges from the middle of the city, not out in the sea in the distance. I do have an example of this exact scenario where it actually did work, so let's put that in right here. Let's do another straight up image to video, give Q1 a chance to shine. Let's choose another image from my outdoor folder. This time we've got Tracy out on the city streets of New York. Oh, the possibilities. Let's select this whole image and click on confirm. Woman is approached by Bigfoot, brown and furry and friendly, attempting to sell her a bouquet of purple roses. Here she is on the street. Here comes Bigfoot selling purple roses. So I know those are just a few silly examples, but hopefully it gets you going, hey, yeah, outside, there's stuff out there that I can mix and match and create my own epic disaster film or romantic comedy or sci-fi, whatever, with bits and pieces of my own hometown. If these are the types of tech you like to learn about, well, why not subscribe to this channel? Because these are the things we explore all the time.
If you subscribe now, I will not look for you. I will not pursue you. But if you do not, I will look for you. I will find you. And I